Welcome back to the channel. I'm Shelby, aka 88 Fox. Today we're going to be working on a Kia Telluride. So this Telluride is my step-mom-in-law or something, I don't know, and it's got a shutter anytime you hit the gas pretty good. So it's not a tire balance issue because it feels just fine when you're cruising. It's not a brake issue or like a warped rotor issue that because it doesn't do it when you hit the brakes. And the suspension doesn't look worn out at all. It's only got 130,000 miles on it. But the only thing that I have seen that's problematic on here is the boot for the CV axle is ripped and it's been leaking grease for who knows how long. And so we're just gonna replace the CV axle and see what happens. Which, I mean, it makes sense if you're accelerating and the CV axle has problems. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I did take it on test drive. I'll post it right after this clip, but you can actually hear the vibration pretty bad. So you can't really see the shutter, but you can hear it. So I'm gonna try to make this where you can hear. So listen closely. Alright, so you can feel like everything in the car vibrate, and that's why it's making those noises. So we're gonna get this thing on the lift. We're gonna replace this CV axle and see what happens. Alright, so first thing I want to do is get the wheel off so I can make sure that everything looks correct. So you can look in here and you can see this is the boot that I'm talking about. You can see there's grease on the bottom side here. Let's see if I come over here. There you go, there's better image of it. The grease and everything that's been slinging out of this CV axle. So I wanted to also make sure that we got the right part. So I won't know for sure until we go to try to put it on. But this is the part that I'm looking at. There's where it goes into your wheel hub. Here's your boot. Here's your back boot. And then this looks pretty close to what I already got in there. So if you're looking at this, the way that this should work, I wish I took it out of the plastic already, is this one should just be a pop-out style CV axle. I shouldn't have to remove any bolts or anything that are holding it in. So you would take this nut off, and then it sounds a lot easier than it is, and then you pull this back. It should go back a little bit to where you can actually get the hub and rotor assembly out of there, and then you should be able to pop it off from the back side. So again, here's your nut. So take this nut off, and you got to drive this out. You might have to we'll loosen up these bolts on the shock to be able to give it some leverage, and then depending on if there's enough flexibility or not, I might have to even take the tie rod end out in order to be able to get this to come out. So we'll see if we have to do that or not, but then you should be able to get a pry bar back there once you get this end out and pop it out. So we're gonna start working on tearing this apart, and we'll see where we end up. So we already got this nut off, and luckily this thing's got, it's not rusted up or anything, so should be able to pop it right out. Problem is, it doesn't go back far enough for us to get the full thing out. So what I'm going to try to do is see how much we get by taking the strut loose And if we don't get enough, then I will take the tie rod end off, which I already think I'm gonna have to do, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get it ready. And yes, all my stuff is a mess all the time. That over there. Looks like we're gonna have to take this out, so I'm gonna put a bolt back in here. Well, maybe. I'm gonna think about it anyways. There we go. Just so I don't put any extra strain on this. This is your wheel speed sensor. So it's a little 10 mil, so we'll get that out of there. So it's still not giving me what I want to get this shaft completely out, even with the shock loose and that wheel speed sensor out. But I think it's just binding up on, I just don't have enough room because I got this brake line in the way. So we're gonna pull the caliper. Broke those loose already. I'm not that strong. And then we're gonna put those right there. Pop this caliper off. Let me grab something to set that on. Well, that might be okay. No, I'm gonna get something. There we go. We got that up and out of the way. Now it should give me a little bit of room to play around with this a little bit. I think this thing's just gonna be just not enough. Is that what we're gonna do? Might be able to see if we can pop it off on this back side and then see if we can bring it up a little bit and then out. So since we already got it loose, see if we can pop it. And I don't know where the pry bar is that I want to use, so we'll just grab this one and figure it out. Alright, so I took this and I just got on the back side of it right there and hit it, and it popped out. Which is good. So now you should be able to turn this and get the assembly to come out, is the goal. There we go. Just like that. And so all it is a spline, right? So all I did was, maybe you can see where I tapped on it. See, I tapped on it so little it didn't even make a mark, but I just tapped on it on the back side right here, and there she is. You can feel it's kind of, I think those bearings might be shot in there. I'm hoping that's what the case is. So now that we got that out, I'll take this out of its plastic just to compare. Okay, see, this one doesn't have that noise. It's got a little bit just from kind of clinking around, but it doesn't have that. I mean, you can actively hear that. So they look the same. I bet you this is a different size, because factory will always have a different size than aftermarket. This is a premium. Yeah, you can tell that's a different size. So make sure we put this nut back on. But this should be as easy as putting it in here, making sure we get started in there, then we'll bring it up. We'll go ahead and line that shaft up with that, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to get one of these bolts started in here for the shock. Okay. Let's see. Getting that aligned is turning out to be a little bit more difficult than I thought. So you can feel where it's supposed to go on the shaft. There it goes. There it goes. Nice. Cool. All right. So it just pushed in and then it clipped. So I can't push it back out. It's awesome. All right. Cool. Now we can start putting everything back together. I should have probably worn some gloves, but here we are. So I'm going to finish putting this bolt through on this shock. Let me get this other bolt through. And put those nuts on. Put my brake caliper back on. Put this back in. Grab my nut. Put my nut on. Well, maybe. Uh-oh. There we go. I don't know if that's the same size either. Looks like it may be the same thread or the same 1.25 inches. Yep, it is. So I guess since we're here, we'll go ahead and do I know you're supposed to be using an impact socket, but I always lose those. So all right. I didn't even have to take the whatever out, so that's good. Alright, what am I doing now? Alright, now all I'm gonna do is just kind of go over everything, clean it up. I'm gonna slap this wheel back on, and then we're gonna get it on the ground and do a test drive. Hopefully this will have fixed our vibration issue. At least that's what we're hoping. So good luck to us. All right, so we are test driving. So far so good. I'm gonna get out on the highway and see how it does on a pretty good pull. But yeah, no vibration thus far. Pretty happy. So let's see, and I'll be quiet to see if you can hear any vibration. There's a lot of crap in here, so it might vibrate a little bit, but it should be a lot better than what it was. All right, let's go for it. Yeah, no vibration, no rattling. It's good to go. All right, awesome. So I am gonna pull it back in, and I'm going to just torque everything down because all I did was hit it with some Ugga-Duggas, and then just kind of double check everything, make sure everything's good and tight, and then we'll be done with this. So hopefully you enjoyed the content. I did film it all on my Meta AI glasses. It's the first time I've ever used them, so we'll see how it actually turns out. But if it was weird, I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep working on figuring out how to use it. But yeah, that's that. So if you like what I'm doing, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, do all the things. I got some cool stuff coming up pretty soon. So yeah, take it easy.